Good morning, Digit fam. Adam Dowd here, bringing you another day of delicious technology morsels. One thing I forgot about sending the wife and kids back to school. I need to wake up 2 hours earlier again. Every rose has its thorn indeed. It is August 13th, 2019, and this is your Digit Daily. So I've talked in the past about how I don't speak business and investing is something of a mystery to me. But one thing I do know is that when you buy something, let's say a car, and then turn around and sell it right away and lose money on it, that's what the professionals in the industry like to call, and this is a technical name, so bear with me on the pronunciation, it's called a crappy deal. And that's where Verizon found itself when it bought a car for $30,000 and then sold it for $90. Well, that's what happens when you buy a car, then tear out most of what made the car useful. You sell it for scraps. All of this is a long, painful metaphor to say that Verizon sold Tumblr to Automattic Inc. at a 99.7% loss. Automattic is the same company that owns WordPress, and now things just got a little more interesting, but first a bit of history. Tumblr is not really a micro-blogging site, but more of a mini-blogging site. It's most frequently used for sharing memes before they make their way to Facebook, Twitter, and then your grandma's email, which she then forwards to you incessantly. Yahoo bought Tumblr back in 2013 for $1.1 billion with a B dollars. Tumblr changed owners again in 2016 when Verizon came along and scooped up the whole kit and caboodle. And by the way, Yahoo bought Tumblr for $1.1 billion, but then Verizon bought Yahoo for $4.8 billion, so the 99.7 loss thing is a bit disingenuous, but it's my metaphor, so, just deal with it, bro. Anyway, somewhere along the line, Tumblr became a destination for pornographic imagery, but not really in a Pornhub kind of way, but also not exactly like a museum of art kind of way either, but somewhere in between. It was more of a meeting place for photographers who specialized in risque art, and also the LGBTQ community to get down and get funky like the rest of us. Then in late 2018, Apple pulled the Tumblr app from its App Store for hosting child pornography, which is definitely a huge no-no. But from there, the dominoes fell, or tumbled, if you will, until suddenly everyone who wasn't already using Tumblr for porn found out that there was a ton of porn on Tumblr. I was part of that group, BT dubs. And in the ultimate case of missed opportunities, Tumblr decided to shut down everything that was not safe for work. And interest in Tumblr fell. Hard. Suddenly the bar where all these folks hang out got shut down, and what followed was the internet equivalent of standing around outside looking in through the shuttered windows before wandering off home to cry. Well, now Automattic has stepped in to save the day, except it's totally not. Automattic doesn't want any part of what made Tumblr either. Matt Mullenweg, CEO of Automattic, told the Wall Street Journal that the adult content ban will stay in place, and let's face it, people, if anyone was going to bring Tumblr back to its glory days, it was not some dude named Mullenweg. But Mullenweg did say, quote, "It's just fun," which is kind of a mixed message if you ask me. But the good news is, if any company can make Tumblr work again, it's probably a company that offers free websites yet still manages to make a profit. So while we contemplate the economic implications of that, let's head into the roundup! Right off the bat, we've got a pretty sweet deal for you. We've talked about Raspberry Pis in the past, those little computers on a circuit board. Well, for me, they've always been intimidating AF. What do I know about programming circuit boards? Well, we found a deal that gives you a Raspberry Pi plus 37 sensors plus 10 hours of instruction for just $140. This includes how to integrate your Raspberry Pi creation into Alexa, so you can basically DIY your own voice-controlled computer. If that's not the most badass thing you've heard today, well, I want to live your life. Class action lawsuits rarely pay off very well. By the time the lawyers get their cut and you divide the rest of the payout among the 85,000 people or whatever, you're left with enough to go out and buy a Happy Meal for your trouble. Well, not if you're an OG Pixel owner. You might be getting some cashola, up to $500. The link in the show notes takes you to Android Authority, which will direct you to where you can file your claim. Go get paid, son! Yesterday, we got all hyped up about the 108 megapixel sensor that Xiaomi and Samsung were bragging about, and today, Rob Triggs over at Android Authority is here to rain on our parade. Most of us should already know that megapixel count isn't everything. It's barely anything, actually. But there are a lot of other parts that go into how a good photo turns out, and he breaks it all down for you. It's a neat deep dive into the world of smartphone photography, so go check it out. Now that the Apple Card is shipping, and I'm not kidding you when I tell you that one YouTuber unboxed a credit card and got 3 million views. Anyway, now that the Apple Card is shipping, we're finding out more details about the payment service. Notably, if you have an Apple Card and you want to make payments on that card, you need to have an iPhone because payments are made via iOS app only. There is no web portal. There are only 2 ways to make a payment on your card: in the app or by calling Apple support. If this is the future, folks, the future sucks. Just get a Visa. This podcast not sponsored by Visa. A platform as large as YouTube has one main problem. It can't possibly police every little bit of content that hits its servers. Of course, whether or not that is ethical in and of itself is up for debate. Ars Technica concedes that point with the argument that if that is true, then fine. You can't have control over what exists, but you can control what content gets served up to people automatically. Because if that algorithm is based on what gets the most engagement, then it will continue to serve up echo chamber content until it's blue in the face, even if that content is some garbage conspiracy theory. But YouTube can change that, it just won't, because greed. If you dig the dirty details behind military nicknames such as Operation Folded Punch or the new spy plane codenamed Didgeridoo, the Drive has a breakdown on how those military ops get their nicknames. It's interesting, though admittedly not as interesting as I'd hoped. And finally, do you need a new TV? If so, may I recommend moving to Glen Ellen in Henrico County, Virginia, because over the weekend, someone who was wearing a TV for a head left old school rear projection TVs on the porches of over 60 residents in town, and no one knows why. Some video doorbells captured footage of the TV-headed people in jumpsuits. They were literally wearing TVs for heads. But even the modern technology that is Ring could not deduce the motives of Operation Who the Hell Are These TV People and Why Are They Leaving TVs on Our Porches? So that's going to do it for today's Digit Daily. If you'd like to learn more about any of these stories, check out the links in the show notes and subscribe to our daily newsletter on digit.com. And if you like what you heard, subscribe, leave a review, and don't forget to tell your friends about digitdailypod.com. Once again, I'm Adam Dowd, Dead Technology on Twitter, and we'll talk again tomorrow.